Well, we all know communication is key when it comes to our relationships, but how can we do it better? Joining us now is Nika Owens, a licensed mental health therapist with some tips. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, well, so what are some of the key mistakes, I guess, we make? Because we all do it, right?
We all do it. Absolutely. One of the things that we do is like universal statements. You always, you never. Those kind of statements exaggerate a problem, and you want to avoid using those because no one always does something or never does anything. So you want to avoid using those statements.
And we talk about words and just how much power they have, right?
They really do. A lot of times if you start off a statement with you, a person is going to automatically feel attacked because it doesn't necessarily address the issue. It really focuses more on the person than addressing the real issue. So you want to avoid making, you statements to someone because, again, it doesn't necessarily focus on the situation or the issue. It focuses more on the person.
And we've got some of your tips up there. Also says tough on the person, soft on the issues.
Yes, yes. And again, like I said, when you do that, you never really address the real issue. You really just focus on attacking the person, and you continue to build resentment in your relationship when you don't necessarily address the issue. You're tougher on the person and really soft on the issue. And I don't think people intentionally mean to do that. If it's a habit that you do that often, it just becomes habit forming, and you do it often, and you just don't realize you're doing it.
And when that happens, in terms of feelings, it just invalidates those feelings, basically?
Absolutely, absolutely. When a person says to you, this is how I feel, and you tell them they don't have a right to feel a certain way, a person feels invalidated. A person wants to feel validated when they come to you with a problem, say, hey, you're making me feel this way. And the best thing to do is kind of figure out, okay, what did I do to make you feel that way, as opposed to trying to avoid, validating their feelings. People want to be understood, and so often we want to we don't understand one another, so we are trying to protect ourselves, and so we kind of avoid really trying to understand someone.
And you were saying earlier that, so many people we hear about marriages, relationships ending when it comes to money issues or things like that, but you say the main reason is really communication.
Yeah, because everything involves communication.
Yeah.
If you don't communicate about money, if you don't communicate about how you're making me feel, you just sit back and not say anything, you really can't address the issues. You can't attack the issues if you don't address the issues. So everything falls back to communication.
And bottom line, the best tip, you think, just be more intentional in how we express ourselves?
Absolutely. Be more intentional. Really be intentional in terms of how you're talking with your partner. Sometimes we have to rehearse what we're going to say before we say it, because sometimes we're so reactive, and so a lot of times you have to really pay attention to what you need to say. If it's an important issue, take the time to think about what you want to say before you say it.
All right, Nika, thank you so much. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for the advice. Let's check in now with Malcolm.